everyone, welcome to the new session of Studors. Today we will be dealing with the fifth part of the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants. So in the last class we have dealt about the morphology of flower. So in this session we will be dealing with the fruit, morphology of fruit and seed. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe to it and enable the bell icon to get daily notification. So without wasting time, let's get on with the video. So fruits are nothing but a mature or ripened ovary which is developed after fertilization. So a normal ovary is the female reproductive system of a flower. And what happens is that after fertilization, that is the male gamete fuses with the female gamete, that is the egg, the ovary, that is the ovule, turns into seed, and this ovary, that outer covering, that fleshy covering, becomes mature and ripened into a structure known as fruit, which is edible in normally most of the plants. So that is what we call as a fruit. Now sometimes fruits develop without fertilization. Such fruits are known as parthenocarpic fruits. So the main example is banana. In banana, the fruit is a parthenocarpic, that is it is developed without fertilization. Now let's see the structure of fruit. This is a structure of fruit. Take it as an example of a mango. So the outer covering of a fruit is generally termed as pericarp. So this pericarp, based on its nature, it may be fleshy or dry. So based upon the nature of pericarp, it is divided. Fruits are generally categorized into two, that is dry fruits and fleshy fruits. So we take if the pericarp is thick and fleshy, then this pericarp, that is the outer covering, is generally divided into three layers, that is epicarp, second one mesocarp, and the third one endocarp. Now where do we see these layers in the fruit? Suppose this is the fruit, this outer layer, this is a cross section of fruit, this outer layer is the epicarp. This middle layer, that is it may be fleshy or it may be fibrous. So whatever it may be, this middle layer, this portion is the mesocarp, and this part just near to the seed part, that is the endocarp. Now this seed, this outer layer, this outer part just closer to the seed is the endocarp. So that is the basic structure of fruits. Simple fleshy fruit has many classifications, but in our syllabus there is no need to go into depth of that. If entrance coaching it is needed, but now let's focus on the briefly what we have to learn. So one among the classification in simple fleshy fruit is drupe. The example is mango and coconut. So what's the difference between mango and coconut is that in mango this mesocarp is fleshy and edible, whereas in the coconut this mesocarp is fibrous. So that is the difference between mango and coconut, although it comes in the same category, that is a drupe. So we have learned about fruit. Now next is the part, the seed. As I have mentioned before, the ovary, the fleshy part, develops into fruit. Now the ovule that is inside the ovary develops into a seed. And now a seed generally consists of an outer protective covering known as a seed coat and an embryo which develops into the new plant. Now normally a seed may have one or two cotyledons. So based on the presence of number of cotyledons, a seed may be classified as dicot or monocot. A dicot seed have two cotyledons and a monocot seed have only one cotyledons. Now let's see structure of a dicot seed. A dicot seed, as I have mentioned before, it has two cotyledons, as we see here. You see two cotyledons. Generally the seed is made up of a seed coat and it has an embryo. Now when the seed is attached to a fruit, it has a scar. When it detaches from the fruit, it has got a scar, and that scar is termed as a hilum. And above the hilum there is a small pore which is called as a micropyle. What is a micropyle? We can learn in later chapters. Now the seed coat, we can discuss about the seed coat. It has two layers, that is outer testa and inner tegment. That is, the seed coat generally has two layers. It has got two layers, what is outer testa and inner tegment. Those are two terms related to the term seed coat. Now, coming into the internal structure of a dicot seed, this two portions has the cotyledons which store the reserve food materials which is needed for the seedlings to develop. Now, coming to the embryo, it has an embryonal axis. This portion, this vertical part here is the embryonal axis, and it has got a plumule and radicle. That's when the embryo develops, it becomes mature, it develops a plumule and radicle. The plumule becomes the shoot part and the radicle becomes a lower root part. So that's about the structure of a dicot seed. Normally, some seeds like castor has endosperm reserved in it, which is present in the mature embryo. Such seeds are known as endosperm seeds. This endosperm is formed as a result of double fertilization. Whereas in the other cases like beans, peas, etc., the endosperm is not present in mature seeds. It is all consumed by the plant. So such seeds are called as non-endosperm seeds. So that's what we have to discuss about dicot seeds. Now let's see the structure and morphology of a monocot seed. Now monocot seed has only one cotyledons when compared to a dicot seed. So coming to the structure, it has an outer covering. This portion, this outer covering is known as a seed coat, which is closely attached to the fruit wall. Now it has an endosperm, which is the reserve food material for developing the developing embryo. Now this endosperm is separated from the outer part by a proteinaceous layer. This shaded portion, this portion is known as aleurone layer. It is a proteinous layer which separates the embryo from the outer portion. Now the embryo, this whole part, this lower whole part is known as embryo. It is protected by a covering or a single cotyledons known as scutellum. The scutellum is the one cotyledon of a seed. That is a single cotyledon of a monocot seed is known as a scutellum. Now it has a, when the embryo matures, it has a plumule and radicle. Plumule develops into the shoot part, the radicle which develops in the shoot part. So these both plumule and radicles is protected by a sheath which is known as coleoptile, which covers the portion of plumule, and this protective sheath is known as coleorhiza at the portion of radicle. So coleorhiza protects radicle, coleoptile protects plumule. That's a basic simple term. Let it do it. So it has an this is a simple diagrammatic representation of a monocot seed. It has got an embryo, endosperm, and a single cotyledon which is known as scutellum. So that's all we have to discuss about the morphology and structure of a seed and a fruit. So hope you understood the topic. If you have any queries, doubts, please post in the comment section. So thank you.